welcome back to our channel Shikshak Junction. क्योंकि अब नहीं तो कब. This is Ayushi Agarwal and we are discussing on our chapter that is on the human reproduction part and we will continue the same with our examples part, है ना. examples का मतलब है कि जो हम देख रहे थे, डिस्कशन कर रहे थे अपना, उसी के ऊपर थोड़ा सा और डिस्कशन करेंगे. एंड नाउ our topic for the discussion is this gametogenesis part. Okay, we will talk about this gametogenesis now in detail. तो सबसे पहले तो ये देखते हैं कि एक्चुअली में ये गैमेटोजेनेसिस होता क्या है. तो दिस गैमेटोजेनेसिस इज a process where the primary sex organs in both males and females produces the gametes. Okay, now what are the primary sex organs? You might know by now, है ना. primary sex organs कौन कौन से हैं हमारे. males में तो हो गया testis that produces the sperms and in females it is the ovaries that produces the ovum. So when these two primary sex organs produces the gametes, that process is known as the gametogenesis. मैंने आपको पहले भी बताया है कि अगर आप टर्मिनोलॉजीज को स्प्लिट करके पढ़ोगे तब भी आपको समझ में आएगा. गैमेटो मीन्स गैमेट्स and genesis always means to synthesize. That is why this gametogenesis is the synthesis of the gametes. Okay, now this gametogenesis, the process of this gametogenesis takes place under the control of hormones that is known as GnRH और it is known as the gonadotropin releasing hormone. अब देखो जो इसका एब्रिविएशन का जो फुल फॉर्म है वो मैं नहीं लिख रही हूँ, ठीक है. आपको मेरे को सुनना भी पड़ेगा साथ साथ में, सिर्फ देखने से फर्क नहीं है. और हाँ, अगर आप वीडियो स्किप करोगे तो ऑब्वियस सी बात है आपको वो सब चीजें नहीं क्लियर हो पाएंगी. तो दैट मीन्स कि इट इज द स्ट्रिक्टनेस दैट यू हैव टू वॉच द वीडियो टू द एंड विदाउट स्किपिंग. ओके, तो दिस GnRH इज द गोनाडोट्रोपिन रिलीजिंग हॉर्मोन्स. और ये जो हॉर्मोन्स हैं वो दो तरीके के हॉर्मोन्स हैं जो सीक्रीट होते हैं. कौन कौन से होते हैं. FSH दैट इज द फॉलिकल स्टिमुलेटिंग हार्मोन and another one is this LH that is the luteinizing hormone. In both male and females these FSH and LH act on the separate organs in order to help in the formation of gametes. Now how it does so we will talk about now, because the very first thing that we are going to talk about within this gametogenesis portion is about the spermatogenesis. Okay, yes, so this is the diagram that we are now going to discuss. So be very careful while I'm trying to get you understand. Okay, before discussing on this very particular diagram, let me tell you some more things about that. Okay, पहले कुछ और बातें हो जाएं इसके बारे में, स्पर्मेटोजेनेसिस के ही बारे में. डायग्राम को अभी जो प्रोसेस है उसका अभी हम वो थोड़ी देर में समझेंगे. पहले इस डायग्राम से पहले जो एड करता है इस स्पर्मेटोजेनेसिस में उसका प्रोसेस समझ लेते हैं. और इसीलिए मैंने आपका मार्कर का कलर भी चेंज कर दिया है सो दैट इट विल बी क्लियरली विजिबल टू यू ऑल. नाउ व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस, वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट द स्पर्मेटोजेनेसिस. बाय नाउ यू मस्ट बी हैबिचुअल ऑफ दिस डिजिटाइज्ड, है ना. और प्लीज कमेंट करके जरूर बताया करो कि आपको कैसा लगा, सो दैट the mentor whoever is teaching you will come up with some more things to let you understand. Okay, अब देखो spermatogenesis हमने बोला कि testis में होता है, ठीक है. it happens in males and within the males it happens where it happens in the testis part. Now what happens is within the males the immature germ cells are present within the testis. Okay, immature germ cells, and what these germ cells, immature germ cells are known as, these are known as spermatogonia. Okay, the names you have to remember it. So this spermatogonia, that is the immature germ cells, produces the sperms by means of spermatogenesis. That is the process, right. Now what happens is at the age of puberty, right, the two hormones that we have talked about starts to increase. In fact, when a male reaches the age of puberty, it leads to the increase in the secretion of this GnRH. And what it is? GnRH, अगर आपने वीडियो स्किप नहीं करी होगी तो अब तक आपके दिमाग में इसकी फुल फॉर्म आ गई होगी. दिस GnRH is the gonadotropin releasing hormone. Right now, this gonadotropin releasing hormone, it acts on the anterior pituitary. Okay, it acts on the anterior pituitary, and then it leads to the secretion of the two hormones that we have talked about a few minutes back. And what are these hormones are? These are the luteinizing hormone, and another one is this follicle stimulating hormone. Okay, अगर आपको ऐसे ही डिजिटाइज्ड मोड के थ्रू जाना है तो सब्सक्राइब सबसे पहले कर दीजिएगा, बिकॉज वी आर गोइंग टू कम अप विद सम मोर इंटरेस्टिंग वीडियोज in this type also. Okay, and if you have any doubts, feel free to ask in the comment section or through the Gmail ID which we have already provided to you. Do not hesitate in sharing your doubts with us. Right, अब देखो जरा ल्यूटिनाइजिंग हार्मोन की सबसे पहले बात करेंगे. तो दिस ल्यूटिनाइजिंग हार्मोन, इट एक्ट्स वेयर? इट एक्ट्स एज एट द Leydig cells. And what these Leydig cells are, we have already talked about when we have discussed in detail about the male reproductive system. I hope that everyone is clear about that. If not, video is there on the channel. You can go and visit to that particular section. Right, so these luteinizing hormone acts on the Leydig cells, and these Leydig cells in turn secrete what? In turn secretes another set of hormones that are known as androgens, which aids in the formation of the sperm. So this is how these Leydig cells act, how it helps in the production of these androgens. Now when we come up on these follicle stimulating hormone, what happens with this? This FSH act on the Sertoli cells, and Sertoli cells also we have talked about in that particular lesson, है ना. So this FSH act on the Sertoli cells, and it does not act directly in the formation of sperms, but yes, it releases some of the factors which aids in the process of this spermatogenesis. So this is how the hormonal control goes on to control this particular process that is known as spermatogenesis. Clear? I am repeating again one more time by changing the color of the marker so that you can get whatever we have discussed till now. Right? आपको अच्छे से समझ में आना चाहिए. दैट इज द अल्टीमेट गोल, एंड फॉर दैट आई एम रिपीटिंग वट एवर आई हैव रिटन इन माई पर्टिकुलर स्लाइड, सो दैट यू इफ अगर अभी भी कोई कंफ्यूजन रह गया हो तो वो क्लियर हो जाए. देखो सबसे पहले तो मेल्स में हुआ स्पर्मेटोजेनेसिस, दैट टू इन द प्राइमरी ऑर्गन्स दैट इज नोन एज टेस्टिस. हाउ इट हैपन्स? द इमेच्योर germ cells within the walls of the seminiferous tubules that are known as the spermatogonia undergoes this process when it starts at the age of the puberty. Right? How it leads? When a male reaches the age of puberty, it leads in the increase in the secretion of this GnRH, that is gonadotropin releasing hormone. Then this gonadotropin releasing hormone acts on the anterior pituitary, and it leads to the secretion of two hormones that we have already talked about. What are these hormones? These are this luteinizing hormone and FSH, that is the follicle stimulating hormone. Now these two hormones act separately. Luteinizing hormone act on the Leydig cells, which leads to the secretion of androgens, which in turn help in the process of formation of sperms. Next, coming on to these FSH, it acts on the Sertoli cells. What these Sertoli cells are, we have already talked about. These Sertoli cells do not act directly in the formation of sperms, but yes, it helps in the release of the factors, which in turn aids in the process. Okay, let me write in the process here so that you might not be confused. Okay, so this is how the hormonal control goes on. Now we will talk about the figure. Okay, so the figure comes this, right? So spermatogenesis is already written here. I will not rewrite it again. You have to understand from this particular thing. Now what happens? ठीक, सबसे पहले तो स्पर्मेटोगोनिया दैट इज प्रेजेंट ऑन द इनसाइड वॉल ऑफ दिस seminiferous tubule. We have already talked about seminiferous tubule in detail in our last lectures again. So if you have any doubt there, just ask me, okay? You don't have to worry about your doubts, you just have to send it and we are there to get your doubts clear at any particular point. Now the seminiferous tubule or the spermatogonia that are present within the seminiferous tubule undergoes the mitotic division. See, it is there in the figure also, you can clearly get it notified. See, this is the primordial germ cells in the embryo that are in the walls of the seminiferous tubule. Now what happens is it undergoes this mitotic division and it leads to the multiplication of this spermatogonia that are present, and that is how you can see it is named as the spermatogonial stem cells. So what the spermatogonial stem cells are actually, these are the spermatogonium only which have multiplied to increase in number, that's it. Okay, multiplied to increase in the number. And very important point about this multiplication is the diploid content or the ploidy level. This at this particular stage it is diploid, that is 2n, that is written here also. See, it is written 2n. I am just getting you in the figure also so that it becomes easy for you to understand. Now what happens is this increase in the number of the spermatogonium produces what? This is the spermatogonium. Okay, again. And now again after the mitotic divisions, what it is forming? It is forming what are known as the primary spermatocytes. Although it is written in the figure, but still I am writing so that you can easily relate to whatever we are discussing. Okay, it leads to the formation of primary spermatocytes. Actually the spermatocytes are getting formed, but why we have named it primary is because some of the spermatocytes are left behind. They do not take part in further multiplication of the development of the sperm. The cells which leads or which participate in the development of the sperms are termed as this primary spermatocyte, and the ploidy level is again the diploid content, that is it contains the 2n number of chromosome. Now what happens is the reductional division, that is it happens is the meiosis. Okay, now meiosis happens and we all know that meiosis is happens in two stages. So now meiosis 1 happens and it is this particular stage where the ploidy content of our chromosome gets into half and now it becomes into the n number, and this particular stage produces what is known as the secondary spermatocytes. Now this secondary spermatocytes will in turn leads to the formation of sperms. The very important thing that you have to note down here is the ploidy level. This secondary spermatocytes are the haploid cells, or these are the gametes, or these are the cells which leads to the formation of gametes through the process that we are going to discuss. Now these spermatocytes undergo what? They undergo the meiosis 2, and we all know that meiosis 2 is same as the mitosis division, that is it is same to the equational division. It is same as mitosis, and that means it leads to the increase in the number of cells which leads to the formation of, see here are 4 cells that are getting formed, and these are known as the spermatids. It is also written in the figure and I am also writing. It leads to the formation of 4 haploid cells, and what these cells are known as? These are known as spermatid. Okay. Now these spermatids, after a process of cell differentiation, that this particular cell differentiation stage is known as, or is known by a particular name, that is known as spermatogenesis. That is not written in the figure and I am writing. That is why I have told you, do not try to skip the video, because some of the things are not mentioned in the figure and I will tell you what it is. Okay, so this 4 haploid spermatids undergo spermatogenesis and it leads to the formation of the spermatozoa. Okay, it leads to the formation of this spermatozoa. This is how this sperms are getting formed. And very important point that again you have to keep in mind is, during the cell differentiation part, which cells takes part in that? Sertolized cells takes part, which leads to the formation or which leads to the supply of the nutrients. Now there is a certain difference between these spermatids and spermatozoa. That is why we have learned it under different names that we will talk about in the next lecture. Otherwise you will be confused of what they are. First of all, what are the things that you have to keep in mind while studying is this particular flow chart or this very particular figure. Again I'll explain you by highlighting it with a different color marker. Let me change the color and then I'll let you know how it goes on. Okay. Yes, the color has been changed. Now coming on to again repetition part. See, the seminiferous tubule contains the cells that are known as the spermatogonium. These spermatogonia first of all multiply to increase in the number and the ploidy level remains the same, that is 2n. It leads to the formation of what it is known as this primary spermatocytes. Okay, again primary spermatocytes are 2n in number because the division takes place by the mitosis, not by meiosis. Now what happens is the primary spermatocytes undergo meiosis division, that is the reductional division. Okay, let me write it here also so that you will be very clear. है ना, रिवीजन के टाइम पर ज़्यादा क्लियरेंस हो जाती है, तो इसीलिए मैं रिवाइज भी करा रही हूँ आपको साथ साथ में. So after the reductional division, it leads to the formation of secondary spermatocytes. Now because it has undergone the meiosis, the haploid content or the diploid content has been reduced to the haploid part. Now the secondary spermatocytes leads to the formation of the spermatids, that is 4 haploid spermatids, which leads to the formation of again spermatozoa by a specialized process known as the spermatogenesis. Now what actually this spermatogenesis, that is why I have put a star. From this part we will continue in our next lecture. What happens with this spermatids, what are the characteristics of these spermatids, how it leads to the spermatogenesis, and then what actually leads to the formation of spermatozoa or the sperm. That all we will talk about in our next lecture. Till then, if you have any doubt, again I am telling you, do ask me either in the comment section or through the Gmail ID or through the number that has been provided to you, if at all you are a little hesitated. वैसे तो hesitate होने की कोई भी बात नहीं है ना. So do ask your doubts. Do not have a habit to carry forward your doubts. SJ is always there to help you, right? So that's all for this lecture. We will meet in our next lecture with the same digitized mode. Till then, take care. Bye bye. Have a good day, all of you.